Hey guys, I want to do an overview of Shadow and Bone, actually the Netflix adaptation of Shadow and Bone. I have some general thoughts about the entire production, the characters, and how faithful or not faithful it was to the source material. I'm going to say overall, I think it was a faithful adaptation. I think both book fans and casual viewers will enjoy it for what it is. There's a lot of information that's being thrown at you from the get-go, and I was kind of curious as to how the non-book fans would find it, but I think by time you watch all 8 episodes, you get a relatively good idea about the Grishaverse, about Ravka, Ketterdam, the little palace, just all the major big locations within this entire world. You get a good sense of it. In addition, I think they did an amazing job with set design, amazing job with cinematography, scoring, all of that was A+. From the trailers alone, both the launch trailer and the full-length trailer, all the scoring to me was reminiscent of like Hans Zimmer and that whole epic, big high fantasy production, and it just sends chills down your spine. The music choices throughout the series were just spot on. Loved it. Costuming as well was on point. Maybe I had a little bit of issues with some of the graphics as far as the display of powers, but I can forgive that, especially with just the big scenes, like with the Shadowfold. It looked really ominous and scary. The Volca were really well done and frightening. So some of the shadow soldiers that you see emerging from the fold with the Darkling towards the last shots of the series finale, season finale, I should say. Those were touch perfect for me. So whatever little quibbles I have about the graphic effects is easily forgivable because overall it's really high quality production value. I definitely have to say the main three, Alina, Mal, and Darkling, were really well cast. Alina, I think, was just really immaculately done, considering the fact that the character can get kind of whiny and annoying, but you also have to take into account that she's a teenager. She never really felt like she belonged. She has to deal with a lot of prejudice and bigotry, which sometimes I felt was a little overdone. I feel like there wasn't really a need for characters to be referring to her as half-breed, or I hope I heard this wrong, but a character referring to her as a rice eater. I understand that Shu and focusing on her being half Shu is important, and I like the inclusion of that, and I like including Jessie, the actress's ethnicity, race into the show. But even in fantasy settings, you don't really have to deal with racial slurs like that. Maybe I'm not the person to be speaking about that particular element, but I just didn't think it was unnecessary. But overall, I do love the character of Alina, but I love the actress. I don't think I would like the character as much if it wasn't for Jessie. Mal, same thing. I like the character in the books, didn't have that much of a problem with him, but on the show he completely excels because the actor has chemistry with Jessie, and the actor has charisma for days. He is just pitch perfect. Archie was someone that I thought was really interesting to watch, even from like the cast interviews, so he didn't disappoint. And Ben Barnes, everyone knew he was going to bring it. He was able to switch off between being the enigmatic, charismatic figure that was mysterious to really sinister, power-hungry, bloodthirsty, vengeful, big black hat villain antagonist of the series in a blink of an eye. Pitch perfect. The Darkling relationship in particular, I think will be interesting to explore with Alina going forward. The choice of having his name Alexander being revealed that early on, I'm not sure if I like it, but we'll see how that plays out in the end. But I will say I like the dynamic that they have going on with Alina and Darkling, and with the inclusion of having the stag's collar embedded in her skin is a really sinister choice. Visually, it just looks gross. but I can see it being a great reminder for the audience if it's not overwhelmingly clear how screwed up the dynamic is. Whatever seduction that happens, whatever flirtation that happens, and her battling her Grisha's side and wanting to tap into darker elements of who she is, that collar poking out from her collarbone will be a great visual cue, as disgusting as it looks. The crows, of course, are perfect. The crows are the reason why I was interested in the show in the first place, and literally the entire Crows crew is pitch perfect. Even the conductor, who I think wasn't really that big of a presence. I don't really remember that much of him from the Six of Crows duology, but he was great within the show. Even Pika Rollins, the inclusion of Helene, all those characters, side characters as well. But the main crows themselves were wonderful to see. I love Inej. The actress is perfect. She was able to play the vulnerability, the interwoven of the arc of her faith, along with her not wanting to kill and then having to do what she had to do to protect Kaz. All of it was touch perfect, and the actress is gorgeous. Jesper turned out to be a huge surprise for me. He's the character I'm rooting for the most. I love him so much. Kit did a phenomenal job. Considering that he was the casting choice that I was most iffy on, he sailed. Just clear-cut fan favorite already, I can tell, and he's definitely my favorite. He understood the assignment, and him and Milo were just so perfect, and I want Milo to be a running gag in the show, that he'll just trot into a scene and help a character out of the blue and then trot right back out. I want him there. And Kaz, of course, the main man, Dirty Hands himself, loved him. Just want to see a lot more sinister levels of him. He was getting his butt handed to him a lot of times in this season. I understood why, but I just want to see him handling his business with his cane. Finish these men up. They can't be putting them beat downs on you like that. I love Freddy as Kaz. Just want to see a little bit more sinister. Overall, just I like the show, like what it's doing. I'm definitely going to be there for season 2. I do have minor quibbles here and there, but overall I think it's a pretty faithful adaptation. I think both book fans will enjoy it, and definitely casual fans coming into the show I think will enjoy it as well. I hope that it's a smash success for Netflix. I think it's going to be great. I loved Nina. I didn't think I mentioned her earlier, but I loved the actress that portrayed her. She was pitch perfect as her. Even Matthias, whatever his name is, never really cared for that character, but their chemistry was great. Production was amazing. Overall, just I had a good time. I had a good time. There were some storyline choices that I wish were a little better, but overall, I'm excited to see what they have up their sleeves next. So that's my overall review. Thank you for joining me. Peace.